Thunder this morning? Scared my dog. Yeah, scared me. I walk.
Oh, good. Let's go ahead and get our meeting started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sign up. Couple of announcements. First of all, September 1st, already talking about that, is in-service day for all staff. So we'll have our morning activities at the middle or elementary school. We're not quite sure exactly what lunch looks like yet, depending on what is happening all around us. The construction.
Yeah.
Chaos and mayhem. But you're invited to come to a part of it, all of it, and there's also lunch at some point. So I'll send you guys a text and an email with more details as we get closer. And then also August 4th, so that's in a couple of weeks. That's a Tuesday. It's National Night Out, and that's sponsored by the Jervis Police Department. The district is providing the food for that event, and mostly through donations. We've already gotten donations from hamburger buns, the hamburgers, and the watermelon, and so we're finalizing the details on that. And it runs from 6 to 9. We will also have a table there, hoping to have some, athletic information there in case people want to come in and watch sporting events or, see different programs at the different schools. But we're also going to have, well, we aren't, but it's pretty a city activity, and we're just there to help support. We're going to have a Coast Guard helicopter fly in, so that will be kind of fun. Yeah,
Really cool.
Yeah, so it should be a good event, and it's right across from Sacred Heart this time. Not in the park,
it's in
but
the
it's
field
across-
there.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
And then also I'm going to be out on vacation, work
What?
vacation, starting tomorrow, but I will be checking email, and we're just going to be in Idaho, so not in So if you need anything,
Cell phone coverage over there.
yeah, I still have full cell coverage. I do, yeah. So, and Creighton is in charge, Weinbach, so.
Right. We'll make sure to blow this on.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
Minutes, approval of minutes.
Okay, on page 12, under action items 8.0, 8.1, comments motion, I think that would have been you guys, because both, it says, there was a motion made by Contreras Director A Contreras, and seconded by Contreras M, but we were both absent, so. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Other than that, that's all. Fine.
You seen the motion?
Yep.
I move Jervis School District 1 Board of Directors approve the minutes of 3.1, April 27th, special executive session, budget committee meeting, May 5th, 3.2, and regular and executive session, May 21st, 3.3.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the public forum, so, on to reports.
Yeah.
We have any reports?
We don't have, yeah, Tracy's in, Craig, you're not here.
I'm it.
You're at Ted.
Me first this time.
Or second to last, depending on how you act.
All right. Well, in the board report, I went over how the ending fund balance is doing for 25-26. And it was a little higher, but we have been, finishing up end of year things and looking at everything very closely. And I do believe we're going to hit our 1.3 million, which was what I projected to be the ending fund balance that would go into 26-27. And when we end at 1.3, that would be an 8.62% contingency for ending the year. So I really feel like we are solidly going to hit that one. So, and then if you look on page 25, we did a graphic of the fund balance. And that graphic just kind of shows the flow throughout the year, month by month, and how it compared with the prior year. The prior year is in red. And so, of course, the prior year ran a little higher, but then when they dip down, they're within about 38,000 at this point to each other. Like I said, we're going to be ending higher than what is projected right here. And then we have the 27-28 budget document within here. That's on page 26. And that just goes through the events of the budget and the dates that they're going to happen. We have the budget 101 meeting on April 29th, first budget committee meeting, May 6th. Hopefully that's our first and only one. But if we need a second, that's May 20th. And then the budget hearing is June 17th. We have 3 vacancies now on our budget committee. Excuse me, it's on page 35.
Okay, good. I was like,
I think that's the budget.
no, I was like, I
Well,
know
okay,
it's there, but I
perfect.
saw it.
Yeah.
When I
Oh,
was
I thought move to another location.
I got nothing.
Okay, sorry. All right, I have some numbering wrong there. That okay. And so 2 of our current, or the ones that were in our budget committee for this past year, may be interested in coming back. So we're going to reach out to them, but then I think Sandra's going to need to post anyway. So she'll be posting for our vacancies on the budget committee. All right, if you move now, I included they put out these nice little flow charts for government ethics, and those start on page, Andy?
26.
Okay.
That's a little.
I'm 1 page off. Okay, so it's important because as officials for, on board member officials, we have certain rules we have to follow. And so I like how they kind of put this out as far as, things that make it be a conflict of interest. First of all, it has to be an official action. Then there has to be financial impact. And then it comes down to specific people, you, your relatives, your household members, or an associated business. So those are important because those all can equal a conflict of interest. And some are actual, some are potential. Potential would be, they might be bidding on something that's going on, but they haven't necessarily decided, but they could. So what you do on page 27, if that happens, you go to that second arrow down, you have to publicly, in the public session, you have to announce that there's a potential conflict or an actual conflict of interest. And if that happens, if it's potential, you can participate in the discussion, but you can't vote. But if there's an actual conflict of interest, you cannot participate in the discussion or vote in the matter. So it's just important to keep those things in mind as public officials. And then the next page, page 28, this is kind of a gifts flow chart. And, periodically there's people who might bring you that gift basket or something like that. And it all has to do with, the value of the gift and what are they trying, are they doing this because they want our business or something like that. So just to always be aware of it. And I just think they do a good flow chart of, throughout this of what that means. And then there also are exceptions on the very next page of, like when you're traveling to a conference and, you're getting, reimbursed for your meals and mileage, that's not a gift. That's just something that happens in the course of doing your, performing your position here. So anyways, I thought it was a nice little quick way of looking at this. If you have a question about it, you can kind of. And that's all I had for today. Do you have any questions for me?
No. Bigger fonts on the numbers, that would be awesome, but other than that, nothing.
Didn't see how they printed in the book. I actually, that one that's really small, I always take it and make it in black and bold instead of this really light gray that they put in there. But if it did it,
We just have to really.
I know.
really look.
I think we might get you guys those little backpack. Yeah, those are hard for me to manipulate.
Back to that, Doctor.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, for my report, we'll have more discussion on the strategic plan during the discussion item. And there's a couple things I want to point out with regard to the goals and the implementation measures and performance indicators. So I'll talk about that then. The one area I definitely want to bring to your attention was the ODE and the instructional hours. So as I explained in my report, I got an email from ODE informing me that we had fewer instructional hours than we had in 24-25. And if I was not willing to say, yes, I will reinstate the hours, I have to explain to you why I'm saying I'm going to do that and make sure I have your support. And if you decide that you want me to reinstate the hours, then I will reinstate the hours. So when you fill out the report, they're interested in the grade band of K8, and you have to take the fewest, whatever class has the fewest number of hours is the whole report for K8. So I had to pick kindergarten. And that said, we more than exceeded all the instructional hours that we need. But if it was less than the year before, or 2024-25, even if we exceed the hours, we still have to say why we're not going to meet that first parameter benchmark. So I then had to go through K8 and explain like what each class had, and it turns out the kindergartners were 12 hours short. And the reason the kindergartners were 12 hours short is because we are part of the pilot program of Family Conversations, where we are following ODE's recommended schedule, where you don't start kindergartners on the first day of school with everybody else. So on Tuesday, when everybody else is starting class, then the teachers and the instructional assistants are bringing in the parents on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to interview the families about what kind of experiences has your kindergartner had in the learning environment prior to kindergarten? Was there preschool? Do they like to read? What are their strengths? What are you worried about? So again, it's a conversation to get to know the kindergartner before they start school. And then on Friday of that first week of school, it's a big celebration. You welcome the kindergartners. There's nobody crying at this point. Everybody's very happy to be in school. The first through fifth graders celebrate the kindergartners, and off we go. And so in speaking with our staff, they thought that worked really well. They thought that it gave them a good chance to really connect with parents, especially those who were first-time parents sending kids to school. But also, even if it's your fourth or fifth kid, that each kid is different. And so it provided valuable experience. And so they want to keep that schedule. So we're going to keep the schedule and continue with the pilot program. There was another model that they did offer, but that included after hours work. So you would teach all day. So your kindergartners would still come to school all day, but then after hours is when you would have family conversation. And our staff does not want to do that, but I also don't have any money to pay them to do those extra hours. because for the IAs, that would be overtime. And so that is why I said we have no plan to make any adjustments. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Why don't they count the time that all the interaction they're having as time with the kids?
Because the governor is very concerned about actual instruction.
So. Okay, good, yeah, whatever.
We're following
It's just, that's the number one thing is you're trying to connect with the parents and that time they're not out.
But it's only the kindergartners that have the last 12 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those 12 hours are made up more than enough in this interaction with with the parents.
The other part that could be coming down the pipe that ODE or the State Board of Education hasn't ruled on yet, but the governor's executive order also talked about eliminating the time that you count for parent-teacher conferences and inserts. And you're allowed up to a total of 30 hours for parent-teacher conferences and 30 hours for professional development. We never need those hours unless we have like a snowpocalypse and we're out for 4 days or something. But again, even with not counting those hours, we're still ahead of the game. So, they're it's difficult to navigate because they really stress family connection and care and every kid belongs
But they don't count that.
and so it's difficult. So
what's our punishment if they don't like?
there's no punishment at this point in time. I just have to publicly state why I'm not going to change the schedule, and we have to post it on our website why we're not changing the schedule.
All right, good.
Okay. All right. Were there any other questions about my report? And like I said, we'll talk about the strategic plan hearing. Sandra, I noticed on the consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say. I don't know if we have board with this.
What?
More focus.
No. Leah, did you have anything you wanted to?
On the consent agenda 7.6 on the new one, I think it should say Board of Directors approves the 26-27 organizational and procedural. It says 25-27. So it should be 26-27.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything on there? Everybody good? Okay, Move to School District #1 Board of Directors approve the consent items listed in that 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, and 6.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Do this. Are we changing? Can we continue the same?
You can continue the same.
Are you good? Yeah, perfect. Good. Done.
So we're moving on to vote for
Yes.
chair and vice chair again for this next.
Unless you want to do it. You don't want to tip your toes into it yet?
I did.
You will have to.
I'll wait for Steve. But these are the,
It's on page 37 and 38.
All right, so basically, I'm just gonna read it and put your name in there, right?
okay.
Okay, Durham School District #1 Board, do we have to elect? Do we have to put it out there and?
Just you are elected.
Yes, so
So
we've already elected. Or do we
Well,
have to say it out
say it
loud?
out loud. All those
So-
in
so-
favor.
Yes, exactly, but I meant is,
Who approves Jen Jones
Yeah.
as the director of the board? Aye. All in favor? Aye. Okay, now
Durham-
remove the.
yeah, the Durham School District Board of Directors moves to elect Jenny Jones as the 26-27 board, school board chair.
The motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. All right, I'd like to nominate Henry for vice chair. Are everybody okay with that? All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors moves to elect Henry Bustamante as the 2026-2027 School Board Vice Chair. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have a slew of second reading policies. I didn't receive any questions or corrections on anything there, so. On page 39.
Move the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors to approve policies BCE, BE, BDC, BDD, BDDG, CBG, CBA, ECAA, GBN/GBA, GBA/DBN, as shown on agenda item 7.7-26-8.3.
I think we're missing one.
We are?
The DDC.
Nope, said that one, didn't it?
You
Oh,
said-
no, I did.
It's-
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so
That's not-
including the DDC.
Yep.
Hold on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mhm. DDC. We're missing one more. ACC, CA, GC. DDD, DDC.
I think a BDDG in the action item is listed
It's the
twice, or no, that's not right.
It's just-
I'm-
it just-
BDDC.
It-
That's just the one that's missing.
So BDDG is listed twice in the agenda, but it's really just one.
Oh,
You see
okay.
above it, it says
Gotcha.
minutes of the board meeting and then
So then it
recording
is
of the
even
meeting.
now.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
but we
just
do
one.
need to add the B.
Yeah,
Okay.
and BDC.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, strategic plan update. So it starts on page 80, and what you have are the 4 goals with the performance indicators and the implementation measures changing. So we convened a work group in June, right after school got out. There were probably, I think, 22 people here, both classified and licensed, along with your administrators, looking at how did we do last year, what adjustments do we need to make for this year, and how do we do that? You're going to get a more in-depth report in September when everybody gets back about what we learned from last year and why we made the changes that we did. But you'll recall that goal 1 just centers around social emotional learning and what our counselors are going to do to help our staff support students and gauge how they're feeling about school. Goal 2 has to deal with your access committee. So it's all children in the community can engage successfully in school, and that's where we started like the videos of parents and community members about what Jervis means to them. And so the idea is we're going to expand that a little bit more and really talk about, we have this tagline, we are Jervis, but what does that really mean? And so kind of establishing some foundational core beliefs about what does it mean to be we are Jervis as it fits in with your current mission and values. And so those will be the talking points that when you talk to a kid about you need to be resilient. What does that look like? It means you keep trying, that failure is not failing, it's an opportunity to learn and try again. That'll take about 6 or 7 months to flush out. So we have a plan for what that looks like. Perhaps the most complicated goal is goal 3, and that's on page 82. And so as I'm looking at our scores, so student achievement scores. So for example, I can share with you in general that this year, it looks like our 3rd grade reading scores are 48%. And last year, I believe it was 32 in terms of 3rd graders meeting the benchmark. So
That's
huge
good.
gain,
Yeah.
huge gain. Still not great, but I mean, for 1 year. And again, it's been improving every year since we've had the hive going on and we've hired Cindy
Yeah.
to do that. They're the highest that we've ever had, even before COVID. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. And there are pockets of success in different content areas, but My struggle is to get teachers to understand, okay, OSAS, when you take the state assessment, there's all sorts of data there that you can tease out, and you can back it all the way into individual questions about the kids are not understanding. They don't understand when a question is worded this way. They might get an answer if you word the question a different way, but we're not wording the questions that way in practice. And so I backed out our work, and I'm directing them specifically about how they're going to start this school year. So they're going to start with, and I showed this to the team when they were here that day. They're going to start with this last spring's data, and I'm going to pull out the strand information as well as the areas it shows that, and I'll show it to you in September, what areas our kids are really strong in, like what are assets, and then the areas that our kids are not strong in, and what has been the 3-year trend. Have they improved or have they been flat? And when you look at it that in depth, they're flat. If they're below and they're flat. And so getting them to identify, okay, what does that look like in our curriculum? So I am making them like dig that deep into it and then map it out in their PLCs, because that's the level of detail they're going to need to become proficient in. I mean, that's why Cindy at the elementary school is doing so well, is because she does that level. I need to train the administrators and the teacher leaders to be doing that. So the only way to kind of train them is to make sure I'm basically walking them through it and forcing them to do it. So there's a lot of depth to that. The great thing is on our kids' writing scores have gone through the roof because of the races. We believe it's because of the races. We've been doing that for 3 years and continue to build upon that. And also their listening skills are off the chart. So I said they are listening to you. They're not going to do what you want. They're capable. They're just going to do their own thing.
Yeah.
But it is again a strength of our kids. So how do we build upon that strength? The other piece is that when we look at improving instructional rigor, we have this chart. It's called a depth of knowledge chart. So think of it like the hierarchy of needs. Like the basic is you have to have like food, right? And the pyramid, right? And then when you're at the top of the pyramid, when you had like food, shelter, all of these things, and at the top, you're being altruistic and you're contributing to society. The depth of knowledge is similar. Like the lowest depth of knowledge is just recall. Like you're just repeating what you've been told. The higher depth is not only do you understand what you've been taught, but now you're taking those concepts and you're applying them to different ideas, and you're making your own ideas, and you can argue it and you can defend it and you can see the other side and you can really articulate that with other opinions. So getting teachers to map out, I need you to be at level 3 and 4 in depth of knowledge. And interestingly enough, 3 and 4 in the depth of knowledge, the rigor for kids, mirrors Danielson's teaching 3 and 4, proficient and distinguished. So if kids are doing these things, they are going to be proficient. So we're going to tease that part out. So it'll be a lot of work, and I'm sure they're going to look at this and go, wow, that's pretty prescriptive, but it is, I'm convinced, and your team is convinced, it's the next step to move forward with even better results. So, and then goal 4, of course, we're just still in the throes of bond work. And as we start wrapping up some of the bond projects, then what we'll do is we'll convene some committees to look at what is left. Is there money left? What are shorter term projects we need to look at? Longer term, where do we go from here? That kind of thing. And you'll see today, like you're going to look around, you're going to go, what is going to be left? I mean, it's just chaos. But there's going to be plenty left. So plenty to do and not enough. So do these sound? And again, this is not finalized, the strategic goals. When the administrators come back the 1st of August, then we're going to finalize it and get it to print. So if you think of something or you have a question, you have plenty of time to let them know. Okay.
first readings to look at. Other than that, first meeting adjourned and we'll head into our lovely working session. By the way, we're gone, but we're nominated.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
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 That's what happens. What happened when you're not here? Oh,
She actually nominated you. Just kidding. Just kidding. She's gonna walk out of the house.
So it looks like everybody has their walking shoes on,
Oh.
but it's not, it's not an active construction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I see your toes.
And they're right feet.
Sorry.
Well,
So I think what we'll do is we'll start over at the elementary school and then you can walk back over here, pop in your cars, and then we'll go park at the high school and do the high school, middle school, and then we'll just adjourn the meeting from there.
oh,
Does that work?
oh,
And we have Gus and Julie here to walk us through.
Yay.
yeah.